What is going on? No time to waste today. What is happening? Let me adjust this real quick. Welcome to Reese Waters Runs Deep. I very much appreciate all you guys. Want to welcome my man Thomas to the gang. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody in the mod squad. Miss Ray is back. Shout out to Larry. I see Regina. By the way, Regina, I just sent you an email because my man Bernard Taylor, who's another guy we're gonna have to reach out to, put him on the list, Miss Ray. My man Bernard Taylor put out a video about Candace Owens seeing the light, so you I have to look into that and see what in the world she just said. Shout out Roberta, Deshauna, everybody who's in the house helping out on the channel. If you haven't already checked out the video I put out about the Trump tariffs and the stupidity behind the Trump tariffs, make sure you check that out. I'm in the process. Well, first of all, I need to be in process of limiting my likes and ums. That's one thing that my wife made me aware of after last week's live. So I'm going to try and limit my likes and ums. And your boy is going to try. Hey, we got company coming over tonight. Okay, we got company coming over. Oh, shout out Chernobyl. We got company coming over. Don't y'all embarrass me out here. Don't y'all embarrass me out here. We got company coming over today. When I finish this live, I am going to edit a new because your boy got his haircut. So I'm gonna edit a new video conclusion that's gonna go in the next couple of batch of videos, but in it, I'm talking about my new move to reach out and share the platform with creators and present to you people that I enjoy, and really help grow the community that has grown incredibly up to this point. So, who said? Chernobyl said, "Let me go sit down because I'm an embarrassment." Sometimes you need a kick in the butt to do that. So like when I started this channel in earnest, when I really started making content, it literally started because I was talking to a mentor and I had paralysis by analysis. And he said, I want you to make a video by next week. Do something by next week. So I went live. That was my first live. And I've been live every week ever since. And then sometime along that way, I decided to start making videos. So I've been emailing with Francesca Ramsey, who you guys know as the woman behind the "Why I Never Thought the Leopards Would Eat My Face" song that I've used many times. So I've been emailing with her. She said she was available on this particular date, and I said this will be the beginning. We're gonna push onward and upward from here. So shout out, Be Humble. Shout out to you. But before we get to Francesca Ramsey, I got something that I wanted to show you guys, okay? I got something I want to show you guys. I happened to go on X. His mama named it Twitter. I'm going to name it Twitter. I happened to go on Twitter the other day, and I saw this chart, okay? This is a chart of the fastest growing political and political adjacent YouTube channels by net new subscribers in Q1 of 2025. Now, a lot of people have been posting this and sending this out because of how many blue channels there are right here, because of how that looks with the blue channels outperforming the red channels in terms of growth in Q1, which is fantastic. That is really, really dope. And really encouraging to me that the resistance is strong and the resistance is growing. And clearly people are paying attention. That gives me a lot of confidence moving forward in the things that we can do and the things that we create. At the same time, okay, if you look at this chart, it goes from Midas Touch, who gained 1 million, all the way down to the Rubin Report, which gained 100,000. Now, I didn't flip when I saw this chart because I don't track I look at things like that, but I don't like keep them in my head. You know what I mean? So, I don't know how many I've gained in Q1. I have no idea. But if you look at the tweet that's posted here, it says YouTube is the most visited and most minutes consumed of all social media platforms. One Black media channel is listed, Roland Martin, not FD Signifier, Reese Waters, or anyone else not white. Are these Black channels getting the same ad dollars and promotions as the white ones? So after I saw that tweet, I decided to check. Let me check and see if I actually have qualified to make this chart. So I did. And you are correct, Regina. When I checked, which was like April 3rd, something like that, April 3rd, April 4th, somewhere around there. When I checked, my channel was up 153,000 subscribers in 2024. Now, since I checked in April, I was checking based on Q1 plus a couple of days. So unless I got 60,000 subscribers between April 1st and April 4th, or April 1st and April 3rd, or whenever I checked that, unless I went 60 deep in the first couple of days of April, which I can tell you ain't happened, your boy should have been on this list. Now, am I upset, angry? Not really, because when I saw it, I didn't even know that I should have been on the list, right? I had to check it in order to see that I wasn't on the list. So I'm not wilding about the fact that I didn't get the recognition, because not having the recognition, and yes, Miss Miller, I do have Cash App. It's in the description box of all the videos, my Cash App and my Venmo and my PayPal. Thank you for that. Thank you in advance. Am I upset about that? No, I try not to be too invested and obsessed with those metrics. And not being on the chart doesn't mean that the channel didn't grow. They don't take my 153,000 away because I'm not on the chart. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, though, my eyes are open. My eyes are open because the message that was presented in that tweet is a real one, which is talking about recognition of Black creators. It's asking questions about ad dollars. It's asking questions about promotion, all those kinds of things. And to be ignored when a list like this is being compiled would suggest that there is some disregard elsewhere. So we have to ask ourselves, are we getting our just desserts in the various ways and spaces in which people are rewarded for their work in these spaces? And don't think that'll be the last time we talk about that, because if you know Francesca Ramsey, she'll have some thoughts about that particular thing. Now, I wanted to mention that. The other thing that I wanted to mention, and this relates to this, is welcome back, Miss Ray. And special welcome back, Miss Ray. As you guys know, she was not here this past weekend. I happened to do an impromptu live on Saturday. And that day was a wild day. I knew she was coming back on Sunday, and I knew there were all these protests on Saturday. And I texted with Regina, and she was saying it would be great if you went live tomorrow during some of the protests. Unfortunately, I had a bunch of errands to run, and I wasn't home during a lot of, I didn't get home until 4 or 5 o'clock or something like that, right? Actually 2, 3 o'clock. And I'm seeing all these protests. I'm seeing people streaming the protests, and I have major FOMO, feeling like I want to use my channel to try and elevate. I want to be a part of this massive protest that's going on, right? I come home, I'm trying to figure out exactly what to do and how to play it. and I see that Cory Booker is about to do a town hall. So I decide, you know what? I'm going to live stream Cory Booker's town hall. I'm just going out of nowhere. I'm home now. I'm a live stream Cory Booker's town hall. So I start live streaming Cory Booker's town hall on Saturday, sometime around 4:00. Pretty early in the process, I see that Larry is in the house as a mod. I didn't see any other mods, but I was like, they'll pop in. So I saw Larry was in the house. And I was watching the town hall. I was moving around the house, doing various things. Soon I get a text from Regina. Hey, you have some trolls in the chat. You need to check that. So I come back and I look and I see that Larry is getting hit from all angles. Larry is getting hit like Sonny Corleone, like Sonny at the Causeway. You remember how they got Sonny at the Causeway? Or a more recent example, like Queen Latifah in that scene from Set It Off. And I apologize to the new generation for not having a spoiler alert. Larry was getting hit like Queen Latifah in that scene from Set It Off by trolls. He would just, you know what I mean? Like all over. Like, so I came in and tried to help Larry. But Regina said, can you make me a mod so that I can help Larry, how I can help monitor this? And I did. So Regina came in and she helped. And I came in and I helped. And then after a while, I started to see, I think Mariana popped in. I think Dank popped in. I think that Deshauna popped in. I think Roberta popped in. Chernobyl popped in. I saw people pop in eventually as the live went. And they cleared house. You know what I mean? They regulate. They came through like the Avengers. And for me, you guys don't have any idea how that looks to me. The fact that I can go live, have somebody who is volunteering his time and energy, and Larry, trying to keep this a safe space for everybody. I can have Regina alerting me to what's going on. There's a problem. I'm willing to come and help solve the problem. And as time went on, more and more people started to pop in and make sure that this was a safe space. When I tell you why I'm not whiling about not being on that chart, it's because this community that's been created moves like that. Okay? That meant so much to me that the whole thing was just beautiful. I hate that Larry had to take all the L's. I hate it had to happen to you, Larry. I hate it had to happen to you. My bad. Larry needs some milk. I need to get Larry's address and send him some milk. Larry needs some milk after that. Larry needs some milk. I hate it had to happen to you, Larry. But the fact that happened, like, just the fact that it happened the way that it happened was just incredible. And then when it came back, when Miss Ray came back and I told her what happened, she knew what happened because she had watched it. She had seen everything that transpired. For you guys to take that kind of ownership over making sure that this is a place where people come and feel comfortable and feel free and hopefully disagree. I don't wow when people disagree, but it's when people are disrespectful that we got a problem. But the fact that they came in, like like security and players club and just regulate it is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. So shout out to all the mods for that story. And shout out to all you guys for making me qualify for the chart that I didn't make. So one of these days, maybe it's because they think I'm not politics adjacent. Maybe that I'm definitely not a political channel, but I think I'm adjacent. You know what I mean? I think I'm adjacent. I would say, I'm around the corner. I'm not too far. I'm around the corner. Unless I don't know if they got some redlining going. Maybe they got some redlining going on in politics streets, and now I'm on the other side. Apparently, that's what it is. From what that tweet said, apparently that's what it is. So we done got redlined out of the political community, and I didn't make the chart. It's too bad. It's too bad. All right. Before I shift gears, I did want to thank a fan. I got some fan art that was sent to me that was really dope, and I'm going to start using it. Obajuru, fan supporter, sent me like a mock-up that was really, really dope. I'm really excited about it. So I look forward to presenting that to you. You can look for that in the next video conclusion. And let me go to you guys' comments here real quick. Shout out Bonji baby. Credit. Shout out to you. What the dealio? I like that. TP, thank you. Much appreciated. Thank you. Much appreciated. Thank you, Treva, for adding to Larry's. Hey Larry, you getting D. We can't do almond. Not with these prices. We got some D for you, Larry. TP, Reese, you and your moms are the reason I'm here 6 months plus. We'll get there, whether they want us there or not. Got that right. TP, I appreciate you for that, sir. All the way to Germany. Diamond in the rough, thank you very much. I very much appreciate that. Okay, now I will shift gears if it's okay and bring in my esteemed guest. A couple of months ago, a couple months ago, I had me on Threads, and I saw a post from Francesca Ramsey, who was somebody that I know from her work. We've never been acquainted, but I know her from her work. I've used her Leopards song many times, various iterations of it too. I'm partial to the choir. I'm partial to the choir. Because it really, a lot of times we can stray really far from the church, and I feel like the choir really anchors it like back into the church, so I don't have to feel bad. So I know her from her work. I actually was aware of her before that. Her work on YouTube, her work on Totally Biased with Kamau Bell, and so I was aware of her prior to the song. And very happy for the song taking off the way that it did. But I happened to see, matter of fact, why I'm sitting there telling the whole thing while she's I'm just going to sit here and wait then. Without further ado, I will bring to you writer, comedian, performer, host, and apparently singer and conductor, Miss Francesca.
Hey, we did it.
We did it. What is happening?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And Reese, I don't want to brag, but we kind of have the same haircut. And I feel like this was the universe coming together to say we needed to twin.
Only because we're doing this on a Tuesday. I get my haircut. If we would have did this on a Friday, by Friday I look like that James Brown meme where he comes.
Are you doing every week?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm here every week, and
okay,
I have decided that it's incumbent upon me to socialize by virtue of how by virtue of how we ended up interacting and me not reaching out to you
Oh,
directly,
no, no, no,
I
no.
have to counteract that and like have I need to have a system where I'm just already reaching out to people, or I'm not going to
Well,
do it.
let me tell you, the army around Reese Waters is strong because they stay in my comments. I heard you. I heard your song. Reese was talking about you, and I'm like, who is this guy that they're telling me about? And then I go to the YouTube. It's all behind a paywall. I'm like, okay, you guys coins stacking up because I was like, something's going on over there. And
Yeah.
then I started watching your show, and I was just so impressed, and I was so flattered that you had anything to say about me. And when TikTok was potentially being banned, I made myself a list. And I said, who am I reaching out to? And you were high on that list. So I was just so glad that when I hit you up, you were down to talk and hang out. And I'm just happy to be here.
Now let's stay there before we go too far afield. Are you of the opinion
Mhm.
that the TikTok ban is going to go through?
I don't know. Now I'm at the point where I really think that this is more just like a strategic thing that Trump is doing,
Mhm.
where he gets to, meddle over here and then go, oh, but look, I'm saving TikTok. Don't be mad at me, young
Mhm.
people. TikTok. He keeps doing this 75 extension thing, and even the first time around, he wasn't even in office yet, and he was taking credit for saving TikTok. And TikTok pushed that message to us to say
Mhm.
thank you, Trump, and it just felt very performative. So I don't know that it'll ever go. I think this might be just a cat and mouse type of thing that he does over and over again as it seems fit for him.
Now, one of the themes, if there's like an umbrella of like what I want to talk to you about, is
Yeah.
like these levels of purity, like these purity tests that we apply to one another,
Yeah.
because TikTok really pissed me off with that message that you were talking about. But
Yeah.
then where do I shift? Like, oh well, I'm gonna stay on Instagram. Like we've seen
Yeah.
how Mark Zuckerberg moves, and to that point, actually, Regina, who does research for me, she sent me a bunch of links of footage from the hands off protests this weekend. And
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at it, I was on my laptop and I was just pulling up the links. And a lot of them you had to log in because it said that it was not, what was it? It was like, this content is not comfortable for everybody. And I'm like,
Oh,
what in the world did she send me? And then I go on my
yeah.
phone. It's literally just protests.
Well, and that's really interesting too, because after the first quote unquote ban, which I think was like 14 hours, the timeline was very different. I noticed, and a lot of people said that they noticed that a lot of political content seemed to no longer be on their timeline. We weren't able to live stream for an amount of time. And I personally was getting flagged left and right. Anytime I would do the Leopard song, it would get flagged automatically. And it did seem to be very aggressive. And it was hard to not surmise that it was somehow related to Trump. And I think there was a video of Charlie Kirk floating around where he kind of talked about how the Republican or the right leaning creators were really dominating TikTok. And then
Mm.
Shu was revealed to be following Charlie Kirk and then unfollowed him very promptly when people saw it. So it does feel like, unfortunately, most of the major players, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and of course Twitter, I'm not calling it X, they are in the back pocket. They're,
Mhm.
and it's unfortunate because it's one of those things where social media is such a big part of our lives, how we communicate, how we get the news, how we also speak truth to power, that it's hard to leave full swath, especially when, there are these people that are using the platforms to get people to go down that alt-right pipeline. They need voices like yours. They need voices like fighting back and live streaming and showing what's actually going on in the world. But it's hard when they keep acting like this.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm with Francesca Ramsey. It is it leaves you on a very precarious perch,
Yeah.
because on the one hand I'm trying to build something, right? I'm
Yes.
trying to build community, but I also understand that YouTube may be safer
Hmm.
than some of the places that we've that we've just mentioned. But I know where he was on inauguration day. Like, I ain't blind. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm
Yeah.
like, you know, like you're trying to build something, but you also have to have a go bag.
Yeah.
You know, and you
Yes.
mentioned the paywall, right? So that's the
Yeah.
go bag.
That's
That's
great.
the go bag. You
And
know,
listen,
that's
don't get it twisted. I was impressed because again, I was planning I started my career on YouTube. I had a very lengthy run here and then I took an extended break and for a number of reasons, exploring TV, feeling frustrated with the internet landscape. And as TikTok ban was looming, I was like, let me see what's going on YouTube because there is a level of stability here that is not apparent on other platforms. YouTube's the one that's been around all this time, and the numbers are competing with the Netflixes and the streamers of the world. More people are watching YouTube on their TVs and getting rid of streaming services and cable. And so, again, I don't have to be besties with the CEO, but at the same time, if I'm going to invest my time and my money and I'm going to bring my audience there, I want to know I have some security. So, of course, being able to have that premium content's really smart.
all right. I was affected by El Gato. El Gato Blanco is one of our regulars. Apparently, we're talking insider baseball. Okay, so we need to
That's fine.
We need to bring it back. Okay. Your people, I'm sure, recognize you from that song.
Yes. Oh my God. I mean, it's funny because I have been singing this song since late 2023. I wrote the song December 2023, but it really blew up a lot of last year, leading up to the election, and then specifically right after the election. And so it's funny because I've been on the internet a long time, but now I'm the leopard lady, and now people are like, "You're the girl with the song," and so that's really fun. I'm glad to have like this new era in my career and to just show people a different side of me.
Yeah, it's like the decade overnight sensation
Right,
phenomenon,
right.
right? It's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Was there a specific event or a specific scenario that ultimately inspired this song to be sung at Everybody Who Finds Out Now?
Yeah, the very first time that I sang it was when I think his name is Rob Smith. He's a Black gay Republican, and he was at a Trump
I know
rally.
Rob. I know he done got 3-4 videos out. Yeah, I know Rob.
Oh, Rob and that hairline, Lord. He was at the Trump rally and they were coming for him. They were calling him every slur in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And Rob was just shocked and dismayed. He couldn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw the headline, I thought, oh, I never thought the Leopards would eat my face.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been writing songs on TikTok with varying degrees of success. And I thought, this is a song, and I started working on it, and it was a cappella to start, and I started playing ukulele during the pandemic. And so after that one went viral and people started tagging me, I was like, I got to keep changing it up. I don't want to sing it the exact same every time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really taken on a life of its own.
He's going to feel proud. He's the kind of person that would feel proud that him being, I think that was Turning Point USA.
Yeah.
When he got shouted out. I know that scene well. And interestingly enough, he ended up going on CNN.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about the scenario and calling them racist, but staying MAGA.
Yeah, but and really towing the line. Like he didn't want to say the word. He kept doing the thing of like, well, they did say slurs, but Democrats do it too. And it's like, okay, but that's not what we're here for. And also, you brought the story to us. So do you want to talk about what happened, or do you want to both sides with the situation because you're trying to still show your allegiance to people who, by your own admission, don't mess with you? Like what are you? Why are we in it, sir?
Is there a group or scenario where you feel like the song shouldn't apply? And I ask that because there's so much content that I make where that can apply. Yeah. I don't use it all the time, because I'm like, I need to like, I can't use it everything. You know what I mean?
Listen, Reese, if you're thinking that, you don't even understand the level at which I have to kind of pick and choose. Because
there you go.
If it was up to the audience, they would have me singing the song 300 times a day for every story. So yeah, I do try to use discernment. And you've probably seen this too on TikTok. There are a number of accounts that are satire accounts, and they are fabricating stories. And I get tagged in those all of the time by people who just don't have enough discernment to see that the account is satire now, right? And it's the same woman, and she's doing a new story from a different city, a different character every single video. And I'm like, I'm not going to do a Leopard song for this. This is not real.
Right.
And I think it's really important for us to maintain a semblance of truth and honesty. You know, we don't need to invent stories. We don't have to invent a boogeyman. There's enough content to go around. So I don't touch those. I've also seen some where people, again, have just assumed that someone is a Trump voter just because of maybe how they look. Like I saw a woman who was, very upset about her SNAP benefits, and people assumed she was a Trump supporter because she was white and, I don't know, she kind of looked a little rough around the edges. And so people decided that she was a Trump supporter. And if you actually went through her videos, she wasn't. So I think it was very much like I understand the impulse, but me personally, I don't want to dogpile on anybody. I'd rather punch up. And so I've really focused on political figures, the Elon Musks of the world. Most recently, I did a song for Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports. I try to go after people that have actually been loud and proud about their Trump support rather than trying to invent a situation that's not there.
I mean, it's some hedge fund managers, I think, can get it about now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and I also have my ukulele like right off. I thought, why not?
Well, see, I wasn't going to do that. I was not going to be the person that like, oh, you're a comedian, tell me a joke. Like I wasn't.
Yeah.
But by all means,
I'll give you guys. Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah, I think so.
I never thought leopards would eat my face. No, I never thought the leopards would eat my face. We bonded over bigotry, but they weren't supposed to turn on me. No, I never thought the leopards would eat my face. Slow it down now. I never thought the leopards would eat my face. No, I never thought it would happen to me. Bonded over bigotry, but they weren't supposed to turn on me. Leopards in the chat.
Oh, I love it.
I never thought the leopards would eat my face.
Yay! That was dope.
Thank you.
And don't think that's not going to get abused. So I very much appreciate that. And I see the Leopards in the chat. Thank you.
Yes. Oh
Thank
my
you,
God.
B-Money. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Cassie. I see you, Yvonne. Little Lou, where you been? We've been missing you, Little Lou. Sarah. Gino. Yes. Thank you. Neon. Well done. All right, y'all came through.
Yeah.
Mystic Waters in there. Of course, Miss Ray. Well done. Leopard. This is actually, this comment makes its way into almost every video. The leopard's going to need Ozempic before the 4th of July. Somebody says that every single video. It's so funny. Snack time for the leopards. That's incredible. Okay. Oh, wait, you know what? I got, there's more comments on here. We got a welcome from Roberta.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much, Roberta. We got Wilma. Thanks for the stuff. Thank you.
Someone says, I wouldn't mind hearing it again. It's so funny to me that people are, I think of this as my They Not Like Us. Because if Kendrick can play that I think when he did the show on Amazon, he did it like 7 times in a row.
Mhm,
It was
mhm.
it was incredible. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to channel that energy as much as possible.
I remember that. Well, I mean, it's not unlike, telling a joke,
Yeah,
telling that joke over and over and over again. I do wonder how singers do it. I do.
I know. I know. This is the closest I'll ever come to knowing what it's like to be Beyonce. Because I just when she does the shows and they're just every song over, and I'm not doing any choreography, and I'm still tired sometimes after I perform it. So
That's funny. Okay, so I think you have a new recording that you're working on now too, right?
yes, I'm really excited. I'm actually shooting. So you mentioned before I came on that your favorite is the choir version of the Leopards song, which I shot at the end of last year in December. But I'm working on a mariachi band. We actually are recording this week. I've done Leopards in Spanish, and it's like a 12-piece mariachi band. It's awesome. We've had one rehearsal so far. We're having another one this week. There's a string section, there's a harp player, there's 3 trumpet players, there's a giant like bass. It's like a guitarello, I guess is how you say it. It's huge. And it's the first time we had rehearsal, I almost started crying. I mean, it
Wow.
sounds like a musical. It's so romantic, which makes it very funny because like the subject is so hilarious combined with like this really beautiful in Spanish it sounds incredible.
Now, I don't need to ask you about pushback online.
Okay. Yeah.
As a black creator, as a black woman, like I don't need to ask you about pushback online.
I mean, they're not mad, something's wrong. I'm
Right.
worried when they're not saying something.
But specifically, has there been a subject of the song that
Mm,
responded and was
no.
no? Okay,
Well, you know
okay.
what's funny is I've been asked this now. You're the second person that's asked me about this. And to my knowledge, no, nobody's reached out. I mean, honestly, I welcome it. I would love to hear
Mhm.
what you have to say. But I'm of the mind that you get called out where you show out. And so there has been some people that have said things like, well, we need to embrace ex MAGA with open arms. And I say, you speak in French? What are you talk about? I'm not embracing those people. If that's something that you want to do, I encourage you to do it. But I also think that if you actually are learning your lesson and repairing the harm, that work has nothing to do with me. And especially right now, as we are all feeling the consequences of the Trump presidency, it's not a bad thing for us to have a little moment of solidarity and told you so, as we all also are stressed out about money and our 401ks and our loved ones and healthcare and student loan. Like we're all worried about the world that we're a part of right now. And so the song provides a little bright spot for folks. And I'm
Mhm.
so thankful to be able to provide that. We
You
need
know,
it.
you reminded me of a story. I think enough time has passed down, but I did a Karen video. This goes back. This is like before I was making content the way that I am now. I was just
Hmm.
making shorts, and the woman who was featured in it reached out to me
Mm,
and said that people have watched your video and she's getting a lot of people recognize her from the video,
yeah.
and she doesn't want the attention and blah 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 blah. And my immediate reflexive reaction was, oh wow, like my immediate reflexive reaction just as a human being was to feel bad. But
Yeah.
then I took a beat and I was like, she didn't say she didn't do that though.
Yeah.
She didn't say she didn't do it. She didn't say she was sorry. She
Yeah.
didn't add no extra. She was like, hey, can you just stop highlighting my bad behavior? That was you though.
Yeah, and I think that's an important distinction. And I have a dear friend who's a writer and performer, Dylan Marin, and something that he says that I repeat all the time is that empathy is not an endorsement. You could feel bad for her and also say, sometimes you need to feel bad.
Mm.
Sometimes feeling bad is part of how you learn the lesson. Sometimes
Mhm.
feeling shame and embarrassment, I'm of the mind, bring back shame. Some of y'all need to be ashamed. I know all of your business. You're telling me everything on TikTok all the time. Some things you just need to keep to yourself. And
Mhm.
sometimes that lesson has to be learned in a public way in order for you to really internalize it. And that's not my fault. That's not my fault or my problem. And to your point, I think maybe you would have had a different response if she had come to you in a constructive way to say, here's what I've learned from this, and here's how I'm trying to move forward. The message has been received loud and clear. Here's what I'm doing. Here, I want to, it's a hard line to toe to say that you don't owe me anything, but I am rising to the occasion to be better so that you can see that my actions are going to show you that I've changed versus I'm just going to give you the lip service of I learned my lesson, my feelings are hurt, I'm moving on. It's like, no, here's the actionable steps that I'm taking. And I hope you'll give me the chance to prove it to you.
It's so interesting you said bring back shame because I literally used that in my video for today.
Yes.
Diana's comment, but I was talking about Trump's economic advisor, Peter Navarro, who was found to have made up an expert to use in his books to defend tariffs. And I'm like, I'm old enough to remember when somebody was found to have done that, we wouldn't hear from them no more. Like, that would be it. Career would be over.
That seems to be a common theme over there. Because
yes,
wasn't Melania copying off of Michelle Obama's homework?
Yes. There you
she
go.
got up there and did almost the exact same regurgitation of Michelle Obama's speech at the DNC. So that seems to be a trend over there. I also heard that they used some AI when coming up with some of these tariffs. And that was why some of the calculations were not as sound as they should be. Did you hear about that?
They wish they could blame it on AI. They would. I'm sure that's coming soon to my house when homework is wrong and grades are wrong. It was AI. It was.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the same AI who you are relying upon to work in these factories and built these factories with these jobs that were returning to America that are not actually going to be employed by human beings. You mean like that kind of AI, right?
Yeah.
Now, in terms of the MAGAs, who obviously have been one of the they've been the main recipients of the song whenever I've used it. This is where I struggle. This is where I struggle because, as you have said, you articulated how I feel when it comes to reconnecting and all these think pieces about how to understand MAGA and this, that, and the other thing.
I want to think piece about how to understand the people who've been affected by these policies. Why are we always giving them so much breath? Why we got to get in the mind of the Trump voter who's sad and a racist. He's blaming the Mexicans. Let's find out. I don't care. I know how he feels. I'm sorry to cut you off, Reese, but this annoys me to no end. We have seen so many deep dives and investigations and podcasts and conversations. Why do we always we center them so much? They get to ruin our country. And then we get to hold their little hand and say, oh, I feel so bad for you. Why?
I have yet to see a think piece about women's reaction or Black people's reaction or Black women's reaction to America deciding they would rather have a felon who literally did a disqualifying thing weekly. Every week. I ain't got to listen. Every week he did something that would have ended every campaign that preceded his.
Oh, yes. And
how they react. Yeah. How they reconnect in society. You know what I mean? You're wondering why people were pulling back from the protests this past. I've yet to see a think piece about that.
No. And you bring up a really great point because that election in many ways was a microcosm of what so many of us, specifically Black women, have dealt with in the workplace. Chat, let me know if you hear me, because I have had too many times where I've been in the workplace with a white man that does not know what he is talking about. And I'm sitting there like, is this really happening? Like, how are we on the same payroll? And this person is my superior, and I have to bite my tongue because no matter how I say it, I'm too angry, I'm too loud, I need to pipe down, whatever. And look, if you're not a fan of Kamala Harris, fine, but it was mind-blowing to watch people call her unintelligent, unqualified, to call her a slut. Is she really black? Does she sleep her way? Does she do all of these things? While Donald Trump just so flagrantly lied, cheated, harassed and assaulted people, would name call, use slurs, make up lies about Haitian folks eating cats and dogs. Just, I have concepts of a plan, no experience, no degree, more felonies than qualifications. I mean, it's just, somebody mentioned Jasmine Crockett in the chat. It's the same thing. We're going to break down what's her accent like? Is she really from the hood? Where does she go to school? I mean, it's the barriers for Black folks to be perfect is wild. It's wild. It's so frustrating. And to your point about us sitting out, a lot of folks have been sitting out these protests and such because it's like, no, we're going to let y'all handle it. We're going to let y'all handle it. We have been telling y'all, hey, we gotta, if they're coming for us, they're coming for you next. And they just don't believe us. They didn't believe us. And so now again, the leopard song in action. Well, now the leopards are going to eat your face. So what do you want me to do about it?
I literally just saw, I think it was on Threads, a video of a white woman who was in the protests and was talking about how it was different than any other protest she had ever been at because there were no police standing by. There was no tactical gear. There was no tear gas.
No tear gas.
Because there's no Black people. That's why.
Yeah. And it escalates when we are there. It escalates when we are there. And, I'm glad that it's being said, but it is unfortunate that this is what it's taking to have this conversation. And look, I felt similarly in 2020 when, the George Floyd protests were happening and there were people saying, oh my God, my eyes are opened. Where you been? Why was it this time around that suddenly it clicked for you? You needed video evidence when, let's be real, we've had video evidence. They was making postcards at lynchings. Like your mamas and daddies had the evidence the whole time. So, but now we get it. And so similarly, here we are in 2025, and there are people that are like, oh my God, this country is racist and sexist. I can't believe it. Yeah, we've been saying that.
Question from a novice to an expert.
Sure.
Framing 1 or framing 2?
Ooh, I like this. I like
you
this
like
framing.
This one? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I like it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it feels intimate.
This is what I was going to ask you. So this is where I struggle, right? So we had the whole thing about the MAGAs, and I feel similarly to you. At the same time, the very essence of the leopards eating faces and the very essence of the FAFO movement, the fuck around and find out, is that he does not care about you and you have to come to this realization. But it's when you come to this realization that all of a sudden he loses his power and he's unable to hold that over the GOP congressmen and senators who he's threatening to primary with Elon Musk's money, who's like the most unpopular man in America. So that's we got one, right? Yeah. We got one when it comes to Elon Musk. But when it comes to Trump, in many respects, right, it is a class consciousness that has to kick in for the resistance to reach a critical mass. So it's like two opposing ideas is like, I'm really not rocking with you right now, but I kind of need you to learn this. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of, you know what I mean?
I think that's fair. I think, to use the crude phrase, so forgive me, there are many ways to skin a cat. And so I think if those people want to commit to the work, they absolutely can do it. I think they have to build that community with folks that are going to welcome them. And I think those people exist. There are people on TikTok that make ex-MAGA content, that make ex-conservative content. They are in a cult. And I'm of the mind that when you make fun of somebody in a cult, they are not going to deprogram. They have to want to deprogram. It's not just, oh, I messed up, oh, I feel bad. They have to actually want to take the steps and actions to do that work. And I don't believe that that is our drive as marginalized people. I would say we can have the FAFO content and laugh, but we also have to dedicate our time to investing in our own communities and also building up the people who are in that ambivalent space of like, not that they were a Trump supporter or that they were a Harris supporter or they are a Democrat or a Republican. It's more that they've given up on the system completely. And those are the people that we need to win over. There are so many people that just didn't vote at all. There are so many young people who, I don't blame them. They've been screwed over from the pandemic to, gun control and the school shootings and not being able to go to college affordably, not be able to get a job. Those are the people that we need to be pouring into. Those are the ones that are really going to help us swing elections. I don't necessarily know that we should be devoting our time and energy to reforming bigots, because ultimately they can talk in your face one way about what they're going to do and go in the voting booth and do another. And personally speaking, I don't know that I can trust those people. I don't know that I can trust that you're going to do the right thing only because now it hurt you. We needed you to care when it didn't hurt you and you were going to help everybody. And so now it's still a very selfish thing. Again, there are folks that want to do that work, and I think they should. I don't think that we should do that work. I think we've done enough free emotional labor.
That's an incredible point that you just made. And it makes me think of the economy people who thought that they were actually making a point. Like, yeah, I know that I have a daughter, and I know that that my wife feels very differently, and I know that I have a Black neighbor and how he feels and how he's affected by this. I understand all of that, but these eggs, you know what I mean? I can't. But these eggs, and I'm like, you really think that's a cogent point? Like, you just admitted your level of selfishness.
It's a farce
to everybody around you.
It's a farce. We've gotten to a place where there is a contingency of people who have no problem supporting a racist. They just don't want to say that they are racist. They don't want to admit it. They know that admitting that will have negative consequences for them. So they think it and they have internalized it, and they truly believe, well, if you're undocumented, you shouldn't be here, and you're the reason that I don't have a job, and you're the reason that eggs are so expensive, and da-da-da-da-da. They might not say it point blank, but they feel that way. And Trump has made them feel comfortable in that. And so what a lot of them are coming to the realization is that, I've been sold a bill of goods. And again, like, welcome. We've been saying this, but therein lies the problem. You didn't believe it because it was coming from Black people. You didn't believe it because it was coming from queer people. You didn't believe it because it was coming from immigrants. We were all saying it. So again, it goes back to the thing of, yes, maybe we do need them to get on board, but they're not going to listen to us. They're only going to listen to other people that look like them, that are in community with them. That's the internal work that those folks need to be doing, not us. They're not going to they haven't listened to us this whole time. Why are you going to listen to us now?
No. These are the people that are on TikTok trying to defend the tariffs because Donald Trump is smart. Why? Because he said he's smart. That's why. What qualifications could she have had that would have balanced out him just saying he's smart? That's it. Okay. I'm on with Francesca Ramsey. I learned from my old radio days. People pop in and they be like, "What's going on?" I'm on with Francesca Ramsey. Okay. And you can go as into this as you want to.
Sure.
How do you process when the attack is coming from inside the house? And that's with regards to black creators, to people who consider themselves to be I wouldn't necessarily progressives, let's say. And I would preface it with this because I remember when DeRay McKesson got into it with I I have all the nicknames in my head, but none of the actual names.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I mean, there was a lot of back and forth there. There are a lot of high profile activists that were, Netta. It was him and Netta at one point were kind of going
no,
back
it
and
was
forth.
him. Y'all know who I'm talking about. They got a million nicknames for my man.
Someone said in the chat, Stephen A. Smith.
No, it was definitely not Stephen A. Smith. Hold on. This is me being prepared. Remember they chased him off of Instagram. He was raising all the money, and then he had the newsletter.
You're Martin Luther Cream is who you're
Martin
thinking
Luther,
about.
Yes. Shame
Sean King.
Shame on you, chat. Shame on you, chat. So I was listening. I remember when they were going at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember having this internal debate where it was like, this feels bad.
Yeah.
Like, this feels bad that this is happening to two people that are putting out a message and amplifying a message to protect Black people and to preserve Black life and that kind of thing. This looks bad and this feels bad.
Yeah.
At the same time, I said, well, but then again, if you really wanted to have some protection for your grift, then weaponizing the fact that people would think it looks bad and feels bad, would be a very useful tool. It's not unlike what we talk about it relates to this, right? It's not unlike when we talk about police misconduct, right? Yeah. Where I'm like, the benefit of the doubt that you get as a police officer and how that resonates with juries makes you more easily able to do these things. So it actually becomes very convenient for you. So it's kind of like a push-pull where I'm like, oh man, I wish this didn't happen. But I'm like, well, if the victims are going to be Black, then this is actually ultimately a good thing, even though it's a Black eye.
Yeah, I mean, Sean King is an interesting case because I hear where you're coming from, where it's never a good thing to have two high-level people arguing, beefing publicly, but at the same time, like, people have the right to air their grievances. And to your other point, we can't tone police or police ourselves because we're worried about what white people are going to think. And I hate when people do that. Like, white people are listening. Don't say this. It's like, they're going to think whatever they're going to think. Like, this has nothing to do with them. I'm not going to change how I'm functioning, or I'm not going to let you walk all over me or take advantage of me or lie to me just because calling you out might make me look bad. So again, multiple things can be true there, but what's interesting is that seems to be one of the rare times where that backlash really had lasting repercussions, because I have not heard from Sean King. Where is he? I mean, I don't want to say his name too many times. He might show up like Beetlejuice or something and pop out from, behind a plant. I don't want to do that. But at the same time, haven't seen him. And there was a moment where he was very much a modern day ambulance chaser. Something would happen, a tragedy would take place, and he would storm up and say, okay, I'm talking to the family. I'm raising money. And then the family says, we don't know that man. We don't know him. He's not raising money for us. We are not talking to him. Tamir Rice's mother, for example, was very loud about the fact that he raised money in her son's name, and she never got that money. Mm-hmm. And once again, he was very angry about people suggesting that was the case. And she says, show it to me, show me the money. And then again, he kind of disappeared. So I don't know where he's at. And it's, again, unfortunate that when there are times of tragedy, people are looking for someone to pour into and to believe in. And, to his credit, he was very crafty at how he used the social media in order to gain cultural relevance. When I first heard about him, I was like, oh, wow, this guy's cool. Like, he was doing all of the right things that felt really important, but then he was always asking us for money. He was always starting these businesses that then didn't materialize. He's like, oh, I'm starting a paper, oh, I'm starting a podcast, I'm writing a book, I'm climbing a mountain, I'm building a house, I'm doing these. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. It's I have not heard from him recently either. So that was one of those that almost felt like it had long lasting repercussions. It's almost like we needed to get it out of our system. Like
Yeah.
we needed to go ahead and process this. Somebody in the chat said we need to treat white people who embrace black people better. And I think that kind of relates to this in the sense that one of the things that Candace, y'all got Candace on my brain because y'all keep putting her in the chat. And shame on y'all for putting her in the chat when y'all know I can't read and laugh at the threads right now. You know I can't do that. Okay?
She's having a rebrand right now too.
Wait, what happened? I don't know what happened.
Oh, she is one of the, a number of Trump's cronies have come out to say that they're not happy about these tariffs. Joe Rogan is one. Ben Shapiro is one. Dave Portnoy is one. And Candace Owens is also one of them. And the reality is she thought tap dancing was going to get her a spot in the White House, and it did not. And this is that moment where you have what we call your inward wake up call, where yeah mama, you look just like us, so they didn't want you. You were useful for his presidential run. And she's been trying to do more like pop culture stuff. She weighed in on the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively stuff. She's been trying to pivot. She knows that she doesn't have the same cachet with that audience anymore. And I saw it coming from a mile away.
You mean she ran out of Kamala Harris's heritage and ethnicity content? I don't know how she churned one every other day. Like, I don't know. She did that for weeks.
Oh, the anti-blackness is so deep within her. It is just, it's baffling. And on the topic of grifter, I mean, she really started as someone who was more progressive or liberal leaning when she first came out. And I think she, as many did, saw the money, saw like, oh, this is my opportunity to pivot and latch on to this new era. And it's very profitable. But I'm of the mind, at what cost? I can't imagine. I can't decide how much of it is that she fully believes any of it, or she's purely doing it for the money. I think both of them are terrible, but that's the choice that she's made.
Now, one of the things that I frequently said is pick me behavior never ends well.
No.
And it doesn't, because it can't, because you have taught the person that they can treat you with whatever disregard and you will receive it. So you have to watch for when they try and hop back over the fence, because
the leopards are going to eat your face.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not the person who came up with this, but I've heard it many a times, and it's very apt. Tokens get spent. At some point, they're not going to need you anymore. I mean, that is, again, the crux of the leopards eating faces. And I think she realized that when she lost her job at Daily Wire. I think she realized that when she didn't get picked for the Trump administration. A number of Black Republicans that supported Trump realized very quickly, oh, they're not hiring us. We did all this stuff, and then we're not getting picked. I also saw someone say that being a pick-me is a trauma response. Ultimately, they are trying to preserve themselves because they know y'all don't mess with us. So I want to be one of the good ones so that when the shit goes south, I'll be protected. And unfortunately, it just does not work that way. They don't like you.
I love that. Being a pick-me is a trauma response.
Mm-hmm.
You think you could put that in a refrain?
I mean, it does feel like it needs a little sauce behind it.
A little tokens get spent or something like that. I like that. City Dawn said, "Thanks, Francesca, for being Reese's first guest. Love your song too." Thank you, City. I appreciate you for that. We need to educate people who vote to make sure the opposition isn't challenging their vote to get them thrown out, particularly the Black and brown votes. Yes, we have. Speaking of trauma response, I'm so I'm so negatively conditioned. When Trump threw out that he's thinking of running for a third term, what I got from that was, oh, so it's going to be another election.
Oh,
well,
no,
that's
there's
good
not.
then.
Oh,
That's
no,
good. That's good. All right.
Silver lining. Silver
Right.
lining.
All right. We
No.
voted again? Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's very concerning to me. But I have to try and remain a little optimistic that we've got the midterm elections coming up. I mean, they're not super close, but we've got some time, and it does seem that people are active. Seem like people are activated. One organization that I really love and encourage y'all to check out is runforsomething.org. If you've ever thought about getting involved in politics, they are a nonprofit organization that helps people run at every level. So from the school board to, the dog catcher, if that's what it is that you want to be, they will help you. And at the last time I checked, they had record numbers of inquiries after this most recent Trump presidency. So it seems like people are.
Is that it?
Runforsomething.org. Yes. I've done some events with them, and they've gotten a number of people in Congress, in the Senate, and they do really great work. And so if that's something that anybody in the chat is interested in, unfortunately, the Republicans are very organized. They mobilize because they've got the money and they got the racism and the sexism behind them.
Well, they had the money. My money's looking a little shaky these days.
Them tariffs, thoughts and tariffs.
Yeah, thoughts and tariffs. That's pretty good. You take that one.
I can't take credit for that one. I've definitely seen that all over the internet.
That's pretty good. Now, we talked about the interplay between Black creators, but just on the left side of things, one thing we have talked about a lot. We were talking about Jasmine Crockett a while ago, speaking out. We've seen AOC speaking out. We saw Al Green stand up and go out like a G during the State of the Union address, with varying levels of dismissiveness, met with varying levels of dismissiveness and disdain from the left, the Democratic establishment. And there's been a lot of conversation surrounding which is the exact way forward. And it's a lot going on the left with regards to that. My stance consistently has been, I support anybody whose response reflects my feeling from the couch. So if that's Al Green waking up and if that's Al Green throwing the cane at Trump, I'm good with that. If that's Jasmine Crockett saying stop being Putin's hoe, I'm good with that. If that's Cory Booker talking for 25 hours, I'm good with that. But I'm trying to figure out where the ranking, can y'all not line up behind the people that have the energy right now?
Yeah, it does seem like it should be an all hands on deck situation. And from the outside looking in, I don't know if y'all are as upset as you should be. And I think to your point, that's why these demonstrations from a Cory Booker, from a Jasmine Crockett, from an Al Green feels so important, and AOC feels so revolutionary. It's because they're few and far between. And I'm kind of looking at y'all like, do y'all know we have 30 minutes? We have 30 minutes. What are we doing? And it's frustrating because they work for us. They work for us, and their job is to figure out how to mobilize. Their job is to figure out, what it is that should be happening to block Elon Musk from meddling and throwing papers away and cutting jobs and doing all this stuff. Like, they're looking at us. And y'all are texting me, asking me for money. Why are you asking me for money? Isn't this your job? But shouldn't you have figured this out? Like, I'm like, I understand, like, I'm upset too, but now feels a little bit late. And so to your point about mobilizing, I feel like they need to get on a group chat and they need to figure out what it is that we should be doing and giving us actionable steps. That's the thing that I am very frustrated by. Like the stock market is crashing and everybody's losing the 401ks. I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, am I supposed to move some money? Am I supposed to put some money under my bed? Should I take something out? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And, my parents don't know what to do. Like everybody, I'm in therapy and my therapist is like, yeah, girl, this is some shit. And I'm like, you're supposed to be
Right.
helping me.
Right. Like,
What
why is that sofa so thick? Is that all your money underneath there? Nah, you good. You good. Is what we're seeing, you could specify just the economy aspect of it, or just everything, evil or incompetence?
Ooh. I mean, look, I'm going to say a little of column A, a little of column B. I don't think that these people are smart, but I think ultimately they want to crash our economy to set us up to either, look, when people are in financial strains, they are more likely to support things that they wouldn't if things were in economic, fortitude, if we were doing really well economically, right? So, for example, if suddenly Trump wanted to go to war, which knock on wood, that's not going to happen, but people might be more open to the idea if we are struggling financially. And I have the mind that they are trying to set us up to be able to push some other things through. Where if everybody got no money, no jobs, everyone's stressed about, being able to put food on the table, then they can say, okay, we have the answer. The answer is this thing over here. And they're not smart about how they're going about it, but they have some ultimate evil plan that they are moving us towards, is how I think that they're moving.
Interesting, because I think my conclusion has been that the face eating has shaken the level of, like, the unbridled support that he previously wielded among the MAGAs. They don't have to know a lot, but they know when the checks get shorter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They know that. So I've been of the opinion that, I hate to look up and see red, with the economy, because I lose money. But the silver lining is, okay, that's going to shake a couple more of them off. That's going to shake. You see the layoffs. I hate you lost your job. I hated so many good people that lost their jobs. The silver lining, that's going to shake some more of them off. But,
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. So I've, been reading about cults because I do think this is really fascinating. And there is a lot of research and examples to show that before people actually leave the cult, they kind of double down. And I think it's out of embarrassment, because it's hard to admit that they were wrong. So even when you see the subjects of the Leopards songs, or you see the Dave Portnoy say, I lost 7 million, I lost 20 million, you ask them, well, how do you feel about Trump? They're like, well, I still would probably vote for him. It's like, or the guy whose wife got deported after they came back from their honeymoon, she's sitting in a detention camp, and they asked him, well, do you regret your vote? He said, well, I don't know, not really. So it's like, if losing money, if your spouse being, thrown in jail, if all of those things if losing your job, if watching your pension disappear, if all of those things have not turned on the light bulb for you, and it's month 4, mind you, it's month 4. Again, this is why I'm of the mind where I'm like, I don't know. I can't really worry about these people. Y'all are not logically sound. Like, this is trying to understand someone who is not playing with a full deck of cards. I can't figure it out. To me, there were so many points through his very first presidential campaign that every time he would do something, I'd be like, this has got to be the moment. This has got to be the moment that people go, this is too much. And it was never too. He said, I could shoot a person in the middle of Times Square and they would still vote for me. And I fear he ate with that one.
Yeah, he really did. I've come back around to that, actually, because yes, I've been in the place of asking that exact same question. I have asked this rhetorically a number of times and lost my voice mid-rant. I've never had an ability to ask another person
Oh, okay.
like directly in this space. Going back to uh, a point that we hit probably 20 minutes ago, right, where I was talking about post-election and how we process things, post-election. I'm in a blue like bubble in DC,
Same,
which people
same.
act like it's not, but DC is very blue. It's very black.
Yes.
DC is very black. You are also in LA, and I think what that affords us is the ability to pull back. Everybody doesn't have that ability. Like,
Yeah.
there's, the people who voted for Kamala in Nebraska have to deal with MAGAs like tomorrow. Like, you don't
Yeah.
have the ability to do that. Here's the thing. How do you reconcile the lessons that we learned in November, right? How do you learn the truths they told you about
Mm,
how they view gender and how they view
mm,
race and how they view our capabilities, the
yeah.
trust that they have, all of that stuff? How do you reconcile that with the, I don't know whether you want to call it the matrix or like this performative aspect of America
Yeah.
that we're supposed to participate in on a regular basis? And while you can, I don't want to just sit on you. Go.
Yeah. No,
I will tell
I have
you
thoughts.
because when that happened in November, right? So that election, obviously, election day was a Tuesday, and there was It was football season, right? So it was like
Mhm.
college football was going on, and I'm a big sports fan, so I watched a lot of college football, and I'm like, these people literally, like, they just told every player in their family like what it is, like how they
Yeah.
feel about it. They will still go to the game and put
Yes.
on the orange and the
Yes.
foam finger and root for you, but they just told
But they
you
don't care
exactly
about you.
how they feel about you. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know. You know what I mean? This doesn't
Yeah.
feel.
Listen, I had similar feelings, but I will also say in some ways it was kind of a weight off of my shoulders. It was like we can stop pretending. Y'all have been so performative, and I mean especially 2020, right? We saw everybody suddenly say, "Oh, Black Lives Matter, we're all going to come together, kumbaya, like we all need to do what's right, blah blah blah." And I think many of us wanted to believe that to be true. And this most recent election, a lot of people said, I'm having the tough conversations. I'm going to get in the voting booth and I'm going to do da 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 da. And then the numbers came out and we saw, well, a lot of y'all were not telling the truth. And I think many of us had those suspicions. But, as the saying goes, when someone tells you who they are, believe them.
Mhm.
And me personally, while it was disappointing, it kind of like put a battery in my back to say, well, you know what? I'm just going to do what I'm going to do because I have spent so much time tone policing myself, making sure that I say it the right way so that I don't come off, too loud. I'm not going to curse. I'm going to try and make sure that everything that I do is perfect and right. And it's not that I'm going to throw my morals away, but I'm done trying to appease and play by the rules and the status quo. If y'all can elect Donald Trump again, then I'm going to worry about me and my family and the community that's important to me. And I'm going to squirrel my little coins away and take care of myself because y'all are okay with seeing this whole thing burn down. And I can't help you anymore. I don't know what more you want me to do. And again, it was very disappointing, but it also felt like giving me permission to say, I'm good. Y'all got this. Y'all got this.
Mhm.
Check the resume. I have done the work. I wrote the book. I did the videos. I did the talks. I sat on the panels. I did all of the things and you didn't listen. So this is how y'all really feel. And I'll also say there are a lot of people who felt that doing the vote was enough. Meanwhile, they won't have a conversation with their family members. Eh? You still sitting across the dinner table from some Trump voters, and you won't have a tough conversation with them because it's too difficult. I love them too much. Oh,
Mhm.
I live in this state. Okay, you gotta do put in the work. You gotta be talking like And Diana says some people are too far gone. Sure, but you don't know if somebody's too far gone if you haven't tried. And there are some people who have done the bare minimum and said, well, that's it. And they are expecting, especially Black people, to show up and be on the front lines, when the reality is y'all have not done any work up until this point, and you always expect us to do the work. You expect us, Black women showed up 92% to vote for Kamala Harris. You always expect us to do it. You don't want to listen to us. You say we're too loud, we're too angry, we're too this, we're too that. And now here we are. And we're all gonna feel it. We're all gonna feel it. But at this point, it's too little, too late. The Queen JoJo said, too little, too late.
That was fantastic. That was fantastic. I could tell by the reaction of the chat. That was incredible. How often are you here? Like, how often are you? And I always see you on Threads. That's where you pop up.
Let me tell you,
Threads got such an aggressive algorithm because I looked at too many of your posts, and now it's like, you want to see what it is? How about this one? Now she's here. I'm like, damn, Threads.
You know what? Threads really came through as the dark night for me, because I was a big Twitter user. I was genuinely, I poured one out for Twitter, RIP Twitter. When Elon took over and the algorithm changed and it got flooded with all the right-wing bots and stuff, I needed to leave, and I left. And so Threads has really kind of scratched that itch for me. It reminds me of Twitter when it was its best. Black people are we're so funny everywhere, but on Threads, we stay cutting up. I have so many days where I am scrolling and I am in tears because people are just so funny over there. And so it feels like a big group chat. And I enjoy that about it. Sometimes I got to knock heads a little bit, but I will say, if you are a content creator or aspiring content creator, it's a great place to get seen. It feels like an equal level playing field. You don't need to have a lot of followers. You can have a post blow up and go viral and get to interact with lots of people. You can share your content there, and if it's good, it's going to get picked up. And so that's how I've been using it.
Okay, so I'm so glad you're here, because I know you have a social media.
Yes.
You have a social media workshop that you're putting on that the people can check out.
Yeah.
And no, because I'm glad you're here, because I got a free question.
Oh, go for it.
I got a free question from Threads, because I had posted something on Threads. This was like 2 weeks ago, and I scrolled down, and literally somebody had said, it's amazing how many people post on Threads and don't post Threads. They don't even use the thread function. And I was like,
oh yeah,
I don't think I have ever used the Threads function. I was like, I just tiptoed off. I just turned my phone over and just tiptoed off the Threads.
I mean, to be fair, Threads has a lot of bugs. And in my experience, so, this ties in with the social media course that I'm doing. It's called The Brand is Strong, a content creator masterclass, happening April 19th and 26th, thebrandisstrong.com if you want to find out and join us. But I'm always testing things. And so when I got on Threads, I tried all different sorts of things to figure out how the algorithm works and what gets seen and what works over there. And unfortunately, while you can put your post together in a thread, similarly to Twitter, I found a lot of times that the post underneath don't get seen. That threading them almost hurts the visibility of the follow-up posts. And I can't say that it is for certain, but in my experience, that happens to me. So I just post randomly, intermittently, or I'm more likely to quote something and pop a caption on top of it. But yeah, I'm not really using Threads in the way that it was originally intended.
So now, by the way, is this the right link right there? Thebrandisstrong.com.
Thebrandisstrong.com, exactly.
Okay.
And I want to say, I want to flag this comment. I have a new song about looking things up that's going viral right now. And somebody in the comments asked if we could hear the song. So I would be happy to play it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I love social media. I have a love-hate relationship with it, but I've also been on it long enough that I've learned a lot about how it works. And I'm really excited to help people through their content creation journeys from idea to scripting to filming to editing to packaging, promotion. It is almost like another language. And I think people often, and I'm sure, Reese, you've experienced this, where you try a bunch of things and they don't work. And you're like banging your head against a wall. And then you do something and it works. And you're like, oh, I've been going about this the wrong way. The way that you traditionally would have done it doesn't necessarily translate to the internet. And once you figure out what your strategy is, it can really be a game changer for you. And so I'm excited to help people figure out what that strategy is for them.
That strategy for me has been like throwing it under the, like I act like I'm feeding lions, or like you feeding a criminal or something on death row. I just throw it in there, just whatever happens. I don't want to see the backlash. I don't want to see it.
No, but I mean, for example, the fact that you have a consistent live schedule and that you have tiered content and you talk about the news and you make sure that you throw to the chat. I mean, just getting to watch you, do this live has been really masterful. You're really good at it, but that didn't happen overnight. And I think what happens when folks are aspiring to be content creators, they compare their beginning to someone else's middle. And so somebody looks at what you're doing and they say, wow, he's got this great camera setup and his backdrop and he's got merchandise and he's got, a logo and this and da 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 da. And a lot of times folks will put up barriers for themselves. They'll say, well, I'll start creating when I have a new apartment and I get a new job and I have a better camera and I have all these things. And I'm of the mind that you can't start without starting. And so the thing that I'm doing that's a little bit different with my course is that it's 2 parts. So the first part, we're learning about how to create content. And then part 2, your homework is to make some content. And then we're actually going to talk about it. So you're not going to have any ability to weasel out of it. It's your money, it's your time. But the goal is to get people over their fear of creating, putting the content out there, and then let's talk about how we can learn from it and what our next steps are.
That's awesome. And people can see the brandisstrong.com.
Yes.
And when does it start again?
It's April 19th and April 26th.
Okay. By the way, that was my girl Regina who does research for us who asked about that song. So before you do that though, let me run through the comments because I know you are busy. So we're gonna that's a beautiful way to go out, I think. Thank you, Bruno. I appreciate you. Dolly Oops, thank you so much. Thank you. We got making way too complicated. They reelected the man who tried inciting violence to the Capitol to overturn an election. I forget who also put in the chat that they've been in GOP's been in planning mode since 2008 when Obama was elected, which reminds me of a message I saw over the weekend where it said everything we've seen since Obama is them taking their ball and going home. They were like, y'all gonna have a black man in the president? We burning the whole country down. No, fine.
They're still mad about that.
Rihanna, welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Viper. Thank you for being a part of it. And Robin, who's on your Abbey Road t-shirt? This is there you go.
Pac-Man.
There we got Pac-Man Abbey Road t-shirt. I'm very proud of that t-shirt.
Oh, that's fun.
All right. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. But obviously, I want to thank Miss Francesca Ramsey for being my very first guest.
Oh, I'm so honored.
Yeah, I didn't want to tell you. I didn't want to tell you it was my first guest. She'd be like, oh, so he don't even.
No.
He don't even know what he. Oh, no.
No, that makes
put
it
me down
extra
for
special.
September.
Yeah.
But thank you for that. This is to your point about, and you mentioned doing your social media bit in two parts. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just need to go. Like sometimes you just need to start. Yeah. So I was like, okay, after this, we're gonna book it, and then that's gonna be my first. And then now we go.
You ripped the Band-Aid off for me.
There you go. Thank you to all of you guys in the chat too, and I apologize if I didn't get a chance to get to you. But without further ado, we're going to get a sample of the word song.
All right, we got a new song for you. If I don't know what a word means, I look it up. If I don't know what a word means, I look it up. Sometimes I feel like a dinosaur, because nobody looks anything up anymore. If I don't know what a word means, I look it up. If I don't know the details to a news story, I look it up. If I don't know the details to a news story, I look it up. Sometimes I feel like a dinosaur, because nobody looks up the details to a news story anymore before they start reporting on it on TikTok as if they're a journalist, and they're not. You're not a journalist. If I don't know the details of a news story, I look it up. The headline is cool, but what does the article say? The headline is cool, but what does the article say? Sometimes I feel like a dinosaur, because nobody looks past the headline anymore. The headline is cool, but what does the article say? All right, this is the last verse, and I hope you'll like it. ChatGPT is not a replacement for research. It's not. ChatGPT is not a replacement for research. AI gets things wrong all the time. Use your brain and critical thinking skills. I promise you'll be fine. ChatGPT is not a replacement. ChatGPT is not a replacement. ChatGPT is not a replacement for research. Look it up.
Oh, that was awesome. You rock. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for being a part of it. I would love for you to come back anytime.
I would love to come back. And Reese, I told you this before. If you come to Los Angeles, I would love to hang out with you. Please keep an eye on your P.O. box. I sent you some Leopards merch.
Yep.
If you love the Leopard song, you'll love the merch.
You know what? Yes, I made every effort to try and get it so that I could have it for this show.
It's okay.
But we're trying to figure it out.
Life happens. I've got mugs, I've got shirts, I've got hoodies, I've got stickers. I've got a bumper sticker you can put on your car. All of it's been designed by me. So go to shop.francesca.net. That's shop.francesca.net. And you can get that Leopards merch. You can also sign up for my course there. This has been so fun. Reese, thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. And let me throw that last banner on there. It was shop.francesca.net.
Correct.
Okay.
Awesome.
So we got shop.francesca.net, and we got the brand is strong for your social media course.
Yeah.
We got to run for something for anybody. Like Deshauna, we actually have somebody that's on our show who's like running for stuff.
Amazing.
You have been a wealth of knowledge, and I very much appreciate you. And I told all of the people on the chat, I said, we having company over today. Don't embarrass me. Stay off the couch. And y'all did fantastic.
They were awesome. Congratulations. Yeah. Thank you, chat. Y'all were so active. So many funny tags. All the Leopards in the chat.
Yes.
And also, Reese, very inspired and impressed by your moderators. You got people working in the chat, promoting Instagram. Letting people know, tighten up with the language. I mean, it's really impressive. Great work.
They be promoting the Instagram so that I can log on there and throw something out there. And then
yes. Great job.
Thank you so much. Thank you to the moderators. Thank you to Regina and Miss Ray for all your help. Be on the lookout for a premiere tomorrow of a video, so check that out. And in addition to you have the social media workshop. Is there anything else that you're dropping that we should be on the lookout for?
Mariachi is going to be out probably by the end of April, so keep an eye out for that. Leopards eating faces in Espanol.
Yeah, and I can also say that your version of Leopards that you did about an hour ago will be replayed on this channel probably over on maybe Thursday.
Yes, I can't wait.
By Thursday.
Yes, awesome.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Bye, guys.
All right.
Bye.
All right, y'all. Y'all did the thing. That was dope. I appreciate you guys for coming to the show. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the premiere. Thank you and good night. Is that what Kid Capri used to say? Thank you and good night.